Hey guys, I'm Raja Gaming, and I'm your coach for the Las Vegas Corviknights. We are here for our Week 7 matchup. We had a coach drop out of the league, and I was given a forfeit win for my Week 6. So we're here for Week 7, and in addition to that, I also made some trades, so let's get into them. My first Pokemon I got was Alolan Dugtrio. I got rid of Registeel. We had brought him up until Week 5 to any matches, and I thought this might be more versatile, being able to have another component to Sand potentially. This thing gets access to, I believe it's Sheer Force, which gives a boost to our attack for our Steel and Ground moves in Sand, which can be really helpful, and it also gets access to an evasion move that is boosted during Sand, so targets are less likely to hit us. The next mon we got was Mega Mawile. I absolutely love this thing. We decided to drop Mega Absol. I didn't see it being very useful in our next few matches, and I thought Mawile was a tremendous pickup. We just had someone drop it, and I thought it could be really useful for our final matches, and potentially if we make playoffs, I think it could be really good in playoffs as well. This is our new team. Yeah, let's get into my opponent's team. Alright, so these are the Pokemon I do not anticipate him bringing. I don't really anticipate him bringing Blissey, just because he could bring it if he wants like a bulky mon, but it doesn't do great against us. He has a hard time dealing with Dracovish, and Blissey can get one-shot by it, which is incredible. Also, it's not very good against my Halusha that do tremendous amounts of damage to it. Those reasons I don't really see it coming. His Rampardo I don't really see coming, just because Dracovish destroys it. Tapu Koko can do some pretty decent damage to it, and Hawlucha with its fighting type stab can just do a lot. I could see him bringing Dusknoir potentially, because it gets access to Will-O-Wisp. If he anticipates me to switch into like a Dracovish at some point, he can go for the Willow, and I have a few things on my team that don't really appreciate a Will-O-Wisp, like Hawlucha, my Dracovish, and my Gigalith don't really appreciate it, so I could see him bringing it, and it could be a potential thing for my Slowbro, or Slowking rather. That could be a problem, but I feel like it is not the best fit for his team. I could see him bringing it over something else, and Mandibuzz just gets destroyed by Koko. Because of the set we're bringing, we can just basically annihilate it, and Dracovish does a ton to it, so I'm not really sure it wants to come, and as well as Gigalith being able to hit it super hard with the rock type move, it really struggles. I could see him bringing it potentially for Slowking, but I think it's a weaker bring against my team. Alright, his first mon I anticipate him bringing is Tapu Lele. I really think this thing's a pretty strong bring, because it prevents me from using priority moves, so I can't use Sucker Punch on Mawile, and it's his fairy type, so it can hit Dracovish very hard. I highly anticipate him bringing Garchomp. Just for the rest of my team, Groundnest is pretty good against Koko and Gigalith. It struggles a little bit against Slowking, but it still does a fair bit of damage. Definitely think he's going to bring Mega Scissor for Slowking. Being able to hit that super effective with a Bugs type is really good, and having that priority Bullet Punch would be really useful to pick off something later on, like a weakened Dracovish or a Gigalith could be really useful. I definitely think he's going to try to use like pivoting against me, so things like U-turn on his Mega Scissor, Volt Switch on his Rotom Wash and Magnezone, and potentially even teleport on his Slowbro, wanting to get into things like his Lele and Garchomp. I definitely think he's going to bring Rotom Wash. That thing is a fairly sizable threat, being able to take hits fairly well. It does live a hit from Dracovish. Because of that, I think it could be really valuable to him. I think he's going to bring Magnezone as a Tapu Koko switch in. It can take our fairy type stab, no problem, which not a lot of its other mons. He could bring Scissor in it and try bullet punching, but I think Magnezone is a more likely switch in, being able to either Volt Switch out if he thinks we're going to switch, or just go for a Flash Cannon could be really good. And I think definitely as a more defensive wall, I think he's going to bring Slowbro as a check for Dracovish, being able to take those hits, maybe fire off like an Ice Beam, or potentially go for Scald to get the burn. Our team does not appreciate getting burns, so I could definitely see him going for that, and it also helps with Hawlucha being able to take those fighting hits fairly well. Let's get into my Pokemon I did not bring. I did not bring Mamoswine this week. I just didn't think it had a great matchup. I definitely could have gone well for Garchomp, but I felt like I had enough with Dracovish and a Slowking that you'll see in a little bit. I definitely think Darm was not great this week. It definitely could have done some work, but because of his Garchomp being so good against it, I didn't think it was great, and his Slowbro definitely can take those hits, no problem. We could have had like stuff like U-turn and stuff to try to kill that, but I didn't think it was great. Among Us was a potential brink, not gonna lie, because of his numerous poison was fairly good against his fairy, and grass just hits his team fairly hard. But I thought it didn't fit the team as well as some of the other mons I brought, and I didn't think Alolan Dugtrio was great this week. It could have been brought, but I thought I had a better options on my team. Alright, so our first mon is going to be Mega Mawile. We are starting this week strong with our Mega Swords Dance Player of Sucker Punch Knockoff. Knockoff is absolutely incredible this week. If I can set up on things like the Slowbro, I can set up on things like the Lele, and be able to get a Swords Dance off is great. Sucker Punch destroys his team as long as I am not under Misty Terrain, which prevents priority moves. I should be able to hit that no problem. Play Rough does a tremendous amount to pretty much everything on his team, and Knockoff does tremendous amounts to like Slowbro and pretty much everything, and being able to knock off items can be crucial. Plus 2 Sucker Punch is just amazing. It does so much damage with our huge power ability, and we also have the Intimidate ability underneath, so we'll be able to lower our opponent's attack, potentially set up on something, and then hit it super hard. So I think this is an incredible threat this week. My opponent really has to be careful of Mawile. Alright, let's get our next mon. Dracovish, we're rocking a Choice Bandits set with Sand Rush. Vicious Wren just hits everything on his team super hard. Leech Life is there for the Slowbro, just to get some recovery if he wants to stall us. We probably will switch though, because we don't want to take a burn. Getting burned would be absolutely dreadful, because our attack would just plummet. We one-shot Lele, we one-shot Garchomp, we do fairly sizable damage to Rotom, we do just pretty much, we just destroy his team with this thing. This is definitely our endgame sweeper. All we have to do is try to get rid of the Slowbro and the Rotom. Getting rid of Rotom is a big deal. Let's get in our next mon. Gigalith to set the sand for Dracovish. We want to make sure we have as many turns of sand as possible, so we have the Smooth Rock. South Rock can be decent this week. Stone Edge is great for if Mandibuzz comes. Earthquake is there for Magnezone, and Explosion can be really good. It's a fast pivot. Dracovish is so good this week that being able to get him in as soon as possible on something maybe he's not expecting. Explosion, we can also do tremendous amounts of damage. So we can kill a Rotom that's his best switch in, or a Slowbro with an Explosion, or really weaken him, and then be able to switch into Dracovish and pick him off. Be a really good strategy. So I definitely think this is going to be kind of like the glue for our team. We can take hits fairly well, and if Mandibuzz comes, this is going to be our main check to it. It can just destroy Mandibuzz, and this is also a decent check to Rotom's Electric. We can hit it with a Stone Edge if need be, and potentially Explosion to get Dracovish in on that. Could be really good. Let's get in our next mon. Tapu Koko, I think this set can do a lot this week. Thunderbolt, Calm Mind, D-Gleam, and Roost. Calm Mind, Koko just does a tremendous amount of damage. We outspeed a fair bit of his team, and we basically hit his entire team very hard, minus Magnezone. Magnezone can take our hit. If we're +1, I think we do like 50%, so, but it can kill us with one hit with D-Gleam, so we have to be very mindful of that. If we kill his Magnezone, we have a potential to sweep his entire team with this. So this can also be either an early game breaker or a late game breaker, depending on how it goes. Let's get into our next mon. Slowking, the Assault Vest Slowking can be very good this week. I have the Scald, Drain Punch, Shadow Ball, and Ice Beam. I wanted him to try to hit as much of his team as possible. Ice Beam is there for the Garchomp, Shadow Ball is there for the Dusknoir, Drain Punch is just to get recovery on things like Blissey. We want to stay in on that and basically just 1v1 it. Scald can be great snagging burns, and Water is fairly good against this team. And with this, we should be able to live any hit from Rotom and hit it with Scald potentially, or Shadow Ball. We should be able to take hits defensively, both specially and physically, which is pretty good. This also really helps with his Lele, being able to live those hits. And if he's like Specs, we can live that no problem and hit it with the Shadow Ball and just do tremendous damage. Let's get into our next mon. Our final mon is going to be Halucha with the Electric Seed to make use of Koko's Electric Terrain. Unburden, Swords Dance, Acrobatics, Close Combat, and Fire Punch are really good. We have opportunities to set Swords Dance on a few things. If he predicts the switch like is gonna go, he could potentially be Scarf Chomp. Locked into Earthquake, we can switch in that Swords Dance and then go for like Acrobatics or something. If he's anticipating he goes for an electric move, ground move on our Koko, we can switch into this, Swords Dance up, and then just go ham with acrobatics and close combat. Close combat hits Blissey just incredibly hard. Acrobatics hits the rest of his team pretty hard. Fire punch is there for the Mega Scissor. Just does not want to take a fire punch, especially at +2. I think we have a pretty good shot this battle, and let's get into it. Alright, so my opponent brought the team I was expecting. I'm going to lead Coco. We can potentially set up on whatever he wants to go for. He leads Rotom. That's great for us. We are just going to set up a Calm Mind here. He can go with whatever he wants. And I'm not sure what he wants to go in here. He goes for the Will-O-Wisp. That's fine. We don't have anything physical, so that's not going to hurt us too much. We can either go for a +2 or an Electric move. Electric move is really good. I think we have almost a... We get a low roll there and aren't able to kill. But we're really close, and Coco's already done its job. That Rotom was a big problem, and being able to weaken it is incredible for our late game. He goes Magnezone. I'm going to probably switch here. I don't really want to take whatever this thing has. He probably a Flash Cannon, if I had to guess. So Slowking is a pretty good check to this. We take that Steel move, no problem. And yeah, we take that easy. And he probably is going to Volt Switch if he's not locked. He might be locked into something. Scissor is going to come out here. That Scald, if we get the burn, that'd be incredible. We don't, unfortunately. We are probably going to be able to live whatever he wants to go for. He gets a crit, so we don't live, which is really unfortunate. But that gives us an opportunity into possibly Coco again, or we can go into Gigalith, might be decent. Actually, Mawile is probably a good play. Now he did Slowbro. So Mawile is going to be our switch here. Or Coco. Coco's probably a better idea because the Electric, we should have no problem just Calm Minding again. So we'll go for the Calm Mind here. And he switches into Garchomp, which is good. We outspeed this thing unless it's Scarfed, which if it's Scarfed, he's going to kill Coco. But I have an easy D-Gleam here, so I'm going to go for it. He isn't Scarfed or Sashed, so we are able to kill him, which is amazing. So that's a big threat out of the way. I predict he probably goes Magnezone. So I think probably my best bet is to sack Coco here. I think there's definitely opportunities to do it, but I think hitting it as hard as possible is going to be our best play. So Magnezone, we did a bunch to it. It goes for the Volt Switch, which I think we had a chance to live that because of our special defense. I could be wrong. But he's going to switch. He goes Slowbro. I think probably Mawile is going to be my best bet here. As long as we don't get the burn, we're going to be able to set up on this thing. No problem. So he's probably going to Skull, hoping for the burn. As long as he doesn't get the burn, we'll be fine. He may also have switched because of knockoff. He doesn't though, so he's going to Scald. Please don't burn. He crits us, which is really unfortunate, but doesn't get the burn, which is great. We are faster than him, so I have a free knockoff, so we kill Slowbro, which is great. He probably goes either his Scissor or Lele. I probably anticipate Lele, just so I can't Sucker Punch anything to death. Let's see. He does go Lele, which is fine. So I should be able to live a hit, potentially. He is Thunderbolt. I don't live that, unfortunately. So that's fine. I can go into my Gigalift here and set up for the end game. We do 100% of the time kill this thing with Explosion, so I'm going to go for that because Dracovish can knock out the rest of his team. He goes into Magnezone, which is fine. I think that's the only thing I don't kill with Explosion. I might not have killed Scissor because he's pretty high health. But yeah, so we do weaken that significantly. I can go Dracovish here and kill pretty much everything with a Vicious Wren. So we are looking in a very good spot here. We have free Vicious Wrens for days. The only thing that could be a problem is I don't think Choice Scarfed Lele outspeeds us in Sand. So I think we have this game. We'll definitely see depending on what he brings in. He brings Rotom, so I think we're very confidently probably going to win. Vicious Wren is just a monster, hitting his whole team. The weakening that Rotom was really important because that could live a hit and potentially hit us fairly hard. I think if he was a Lele set that could affect us, he would have switched into that first, so I think we're probably safe to just go for the Vicious Wren here. I don't think he's going to be... Yeah, he isn't. He isn't Focus Sash, which is great. And next is his Mega Scissor. So we have probably... This is probably going to be able to live a hit, because the way Vicious Wren works is that if he moves first, it does a double damage. But yeah, he is Bullet Punch, so we aren't going to move first, so we'll probably be able to take... He'll probably be able to take it. He does, so... One more hit should do it, and we will have won the game. Goes for the Bullet Punch. Even if you crit, that wouldn't have mattered. So... Dracovish seals the deal with a sweep, a late game sweep. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment, rate, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.